Hi everyone, it's Emma and Shannon from Arise, and today we're going to share with you the English classes that we have starting in just the end of August 2026 to 27. So Shannon, we have some amazing classes for that kind of lower secondary level. Would you share with us what we have on offer?
Yeah, so we start out with in the KS3 level, we have English grammar and writing, which we started this year with year one, where we're following IEW's ancient history workbook with the students, as well as IEW's Fix It Grammar. So that's what we have in year one, and we'll be doing that again in year one for new year one students. Those that have completed year one will move on to year two, where they will do two things. In the second half of the year, they will finish that ancient history writing workbook. Okay, so that will start in January. But before that, what we're doing, because they won't have a fix-it grammar this year, um, we have introduced a new course called Writing with Christian Integrity and Academic Accuracy. So that will be what they do first semester. And anybody else that is enrolling in that class just for the single semester of Writing with Integrity and Accuracy, those two classes will be together for that first semester. Then they'll go on, those that are doing the grammar and writing year two, they'll go on and finish the workbook, like I just said, and employ some of those new skills they've learned because the second half of that book is about persuasive writing, about pulling resources together and writing essentially super essays. So you get to the point where you're writing quite long essays and research paper type things. So those two fit together really nicely to prepare us for your iGCSE class, which I want you to get to in a second. But before we do that, I want to just touch on what the Writing with Christian Integrity and Academic Accuracy is about. So, what we're doing with this class is we're teaching how to spot plagiarism. What we found is that we really want to make sure our students learn how not to plagiarize because it is just so easy in this day and age to choose that, even not knowing they're doing it. So when you use AI for your research, you've not really done necessarily proper research. Or if you're just copy pasting what somebody else said and you're not citing it properly, that's plagiarism, along with a whole other 9 or 10 other ways you can plagiarize things, some that I didn't even know about.
I
And
don't think,
so
I think when we were looking at it, we were like, oh, everyone's
oh
playing.
dear, oh yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, wow. So we're going to teach them not only how to spot it, but also how then not to do it. And they're going to, over the course of the semester, they're just going to write one research paper, but they're going to write it well, and they're going to learn how to go through. It's almost like it's a mini, and don't let this term scare anybody because of the age group that it's for, which is anybody like 12 plus. Okay, so they can be teenagers doing other English courses and do this one, but we take it all the way through this little bit of like defending a dissertation. We At the end, they will read or submit their paper, and then they will be asked questions about it. And so that's always the proof that they know their topic. Just like with a dissertation, when you defend a dissertation or a thesis, then you've internalized it, you know it well. And that's how you know that the student has really learned what they set out to learn in their research and that kind
Could,
of thing.
could an older student take this class just what you said alongside higher level English classes to learn about
Absolutely.
the plagiarism? So yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. We've put it here because we want our students to get it, and every one of our students really should have this before they go into that higher GCSE English.
Hmm.
If they're already in those higher GCSE English classes, then they really should come back and do this.
Hmm.
Um, and that's why we're going to offer it both semesters as a single semester course, because we want everybody to know that when they get to college or university, the expectation is very different.
Yeah.
And you have to sign off that you have actually done your research, that it's your original writing. And if they find that that's not the case, then you can be expelled, you can be dropped from the class, you can, all kinds of bad things can happen.
Yeah.
So we're wanting to teach our students how to do it right with integrity, Christian integrity, not cheating, not plagiarizing, but also learning how to write accurately, how to find the pieces within a source text that align with what your thesis statement is or what your report is about. So we'll have younger kids in there that might be doing shorter reports, and we'll have older kids in there together doing longer reports because that's where they're at with it. And then everybody will be able to move onward from GCSE, I'm sorry, from KS3 English or the writing with integrity and accuracy into GCSE English with the skills they need to write great essays on their own when they learn all the skills in that GCSE English class, which you're going to tell us about.
Yes, so we're going to be doing a GCSE English language with the Cambridge Spec. So students who have been doing British literature and writing comprehension, we've been learning all these skills for the English language. So this year we're going to be building on that, continuing on that vein, and doing and just the exactly the same stuff we've been doing in previous years. Um, it's basically just been rebranded and renamed iGCSE English Language Cambridge Spec, and we'll be going through the texts and curriculums, but we firmly believe that every teen should be reading well. And many of you will know that if you look at the Cambridge iGCSE English Language Spec, you can do that without picking up a book. So part of this class will have reading lists assigned and an expectation for students to read good quality text. And there's a reading list that we'll supply. Parents are welcome to choose texts on the same kind of caliber and level that they may want their teens to read instead. But there'll be this expectation for to read a number of texts throughout the year and submit a book report because it's the reading of the text that is actually going to build the muscle for English language, and then doing all the practice with the course and the writing exercises and
Right.
the reading comprehension and the all the nuts and bolts of how English works to prepare for that iGCSE exam. So it'll look a bit different on the website, is it? But it's basically what we've been doing for the last 2 years, just a little bit rebranded. And we have a new tutor for that class, starting in the summer. Goodness will be coming on board with us to take on that class. So we're really excited to have her come on the Arise team.
Yeah. And I should say about the KS3 English classes, we have reading lists for those as well, and they will be appropriate for those age groups, aligning with the IEW ancient history primarily, but then I'll also be adding a few more in just for the sake of having some variety in there, for those that may know want to read more about ancient history but want to
Yeah.
do something different, and that will be fine. But there's some great books out there.
Yeah.
So for all of these courses, we want to make sure that families understand that they will need, there's resources that need to be bought for these, and those are in the course products. With the KS3 grammar, it is those workbooks take a couple weeks to get here because they're typically coming from America. You might be able to get them at Conquest Books, or something that is local to the UK here. Just make sure if you're doing that, you're actually getting the edition we're using because there are older editions out there that you'll find like on eBay that are super cheap. They're the wrong ones. That's why they're so cheap. But if you're having any trouble accessing those, you can get them on Amazon, but of course you can also get them at IEW.com. So all those links and everything you need for the KS3 courses are in there. Everything is provided in the writing with integrity and accuracy. That's all inclusive. Um, unless there's books that you want to purchase based on what your student is doing the report on.
Yeah.
And so that would be the only difference there. And then the English, the iGCSE English class will have the list there as well as the literature list. When we have those ready, those will all be added in.
Yeah. That's all our English classes. All the information is down below in the link.
Yep. And
And
don't forget, £50 saves your seat. And then you can start, if you want to do the payment plan, you can start that to start in July or August and go for 3 to 6 months.
and we have bundle deals available as well.
And
So you can
bundles for more than
purchase
one
more than
class.
one
That's
class.
right.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank you. Bye bye.